and welcome to the 12th episode plus one of Gray Scott Marcus. I'm Scott, and that one's Mark, and this is a show where me and my friend get together and talk about random shit. We just have conversations here on Ramble Entertainment in Great Scott Marcus. This is actually the 13th episode. Mark and I just have this inside joke where
12 is the greatest number ever.
Really is. 12. All right. So, yeah. Mark, how you doing?
Not bad. I feel like I've got more energy when we do these things after I'm off work.
You're the one who typically chooses the wrong day of the week.
I know. I mean, the day of the week is fine. It's just,
Really? A lazy Sunday? Which most of yours typically are? I
mean, I've got more time on the weekends, obviously, but I feel like when it comes to weekends, I'm already like in this like lazy ass mentality, and then on the weekdays when I get off work, I'm just like, oh, I'm so excited to be out of work. I don't know. It's like a random burst of energy right now because I also haven't fucking talked to anybody at all today. Yeah. So pretty much, this is like heroin in the social veins right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's been Great Scott Marcus. Have a good one, guys.
Peace.
How am I
today? Yes.
Today's a better day.
It's been a minute since we last spoke.
I told you, there was a bird in our garage, got stuck up in the rafters, and I spent hours trying to get the thing out, and then my left leg, hurt the rest of the night. Could have been weather, could have been a combination of my efforts plus weather. Could have just been my efforts that caused me pain, but, full disclosure, I took a lot of NyQuil, because that's what I do when I have really rough nights and I just want to sleep. And so I took a lot of NyQuil, and that next day it's always this awful fog where it's just
Get there with Benadryl too.
And so today's been a lot more energized, motivated. I could have had our most recent Ramble out on the channel yesterday. I didn't. I just completely neglected it. And yeah, so Speaking of that kind of wrong noise. Speaking of that kind of stuff, transition. Yeah, for those who keep up with the channel or keep up with Great Scott Marcus, which is maybe like 2 or 3 people right now.
God bless you.
Thank you.
The 2 or 3 people, not you too.
I'm thanking the people, you bastard.
Oh, okay.
So this has been an ongoing thing for a while. They're going to obviously notice that something has changed because there's obviously a different format. There's Ramble Part 1, Ramble Part 2, Topic Part 1, Topic Part 2.
We were doing that.
You aren't even watching anymore, are you? God. Why? Why do you? Why?
I'm useless.
Why do you play games? Why do you go on YouTube and talk about things?
With my heart.
So, yeah, basically. There are still audio things here and there, like some static, some bursts of just random noise, probably a lot of that coming from the USB microphone. That's something I would have to go in and heal. I'd literally have to go through the 20-minute segment and check for healing, which would be a lot easier. In fact, I am probably going to start doing that. This shouldn't really be about our audio. It should really be about the channel as a whole, because it's not just audio. So we're fixing basically out-of-sync audio with video by going into segments. Recently did that on the most recent 0 frames per second, which we'll post after Topic Part 1 and 2 post tonight and tomorrow. And then basically other things that are going on, like lots of cancellations. I've been ruminating on this a bit, and one thing I'll get more into in the hype train is I'm definitely going to start State of the Frame again soon, because not only do I want to get back to that show, I also will be getting back to the game. But I don't know about you. Reed has talked to me about, like, as he continues to get busier, he might drop off, but he's giving it time, which is fine. But I might start doing my own thing
Like your own little show?
I've started this, channel. And my last channel / effort floundered because, well, mostly because of pain. And I just didn't realize I could do more, like sit in a more comfortable chair instead of a traditional desk chair and be bound by cultural norms. But yeah, so like audio getting fixed, great. Progress with the channel. Better quality segments. In fact, I think the segmenting will potentially help with viewership because shorter time means, I got 20 minutes. But it also sticks to, I like the longer format, or we like the longer format, because that means that people aren't just like, ooh, 5 minutes, I can, snark this, basically.
Well, I think the longer format allows more organic conversation as opposed to trying to, stick to 5 minutes or something like that and be like, let's condense everything down in 5 minutes. Like, we don't really put a time cap on ourselves. I think, the conversation flows better, which means we have better shows.
We had to make this odd cut in the middle of talking about depression. It wasn't that odd, though. It worked because we both made some pretty salient points to make cuts on. But that's not always going to happen. Still. So, yeah, like, I like this channel. Like, I innately just like it. There are things where it's just like, I'm not in love with it. Like, I like what they're doing, but meh to the rest of it. But for this, I actually like it, and I do want to see it grow, and I want to cultivate it. So,
sure.
For those who do watch, Jenny, I want to say that I am still going to continue to grow and cultivate this thing and make it a part of my daily life. And that's also on me, too, to make it daily. I definitely have been a bit lackadaisical about posting episodes and making sure they get cut. And a huge part of that is fucking 0 frames per second. Dude, I have no fucking clue why, but our shows do not desync as much as that show does.
Really?
No idea. There's no difference. I'm recording my audio on Audacity. I'm recording your audio and video through OBS. Nothing, no difference.
How much of a difference at the end of our segments is there for like you and I? Is it almost negligible?
Typically, there's none.
Oh, so really, like most of your audio editing is gonna be with Reed's show.
Yeah, I mean, like it'll often be the same amount of audio editing, especially now with 20-minute segments. But like once you pass about 25, 28-minute mark is when start like this, and it's just like the idea is there.
Really good, by the way.
You can go back and watch it on 0 frames per second and see it happening because I just got to the point where I was just like, fuck it, we're reformatting, and I'm just going to post these episodes without trying to like make all these cuts and move the audio because. What a fucking pain in the ass. I know I know you don't work with, like, audio editing or not, like, seriously.
I've never actually done it. I've done some video editing before, but that was like a 5-minute clip in iMovie, and I just added a music track to it.
But it's literally, like, it is literally trying to see audio. Because, so, like, even with the clap, technically the sound happens the moment before the hands connect. But it works. It is actually really good at queuing up the audio and getting it in sync with the video. But it's like, if you're even just a bit off... in fact, I think it happened in the most recent Ramble that I posted, that it is slightly off, and you watch me, and it's like... I'm hearing him, but there is something not right in here. Like,
that's the worst when it happens on TV, though, too. And
yes,
especially when you have like AV, like audio video setups, and you watch and you're like, God damn it, there's a way I can fix this. How do I fix this?
And obviously, it's not even a thing when it's just audio, which is another option. I'm splitting the audio, so I could start moving these into an MP3 format for people to just download and listen to. That's just an easy sidestep that is already in the process I'm doing, but it's just like, fuck all.
Like, that's not a bad way to go to either, because let's say this channel does make start accumulating an audience. You could always
hundreds, thousands, potentially.
Whatever, you can always pop it up on iTunes that way. And I really don't. I've never heard a podcast on iTunes, but I feel like that's
there's thousands.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you can always do that way. And like, I know we're great looking and all, but people don't really need to see us. I mean, they'll get to miss out on lovely faces like that, but yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of like I want to keep people informed, but I also am not, especially with how many painful days I've had this spring, because spring is probably going to do that to me regularly. I'm not going to sit down and do a 5-minute segment that then I have to go through this editing process with to make sure it's up to the same quality, to just say, hey, to the 10 people that do watch this, these are the reasons why things are so behind. And also, yeah, I'm going to start getting videos back on schedule. So maybe you should watch and give a thumbs up.
I will. I really should like more while I'm at work, because I don't do a goddamn thing.
And part of it is quality maintenance too. Like, yeah, sure, we want to go get an audience, but at what point? We still have issues with camera and internet connection, and
last week when we tried it was horrendous.
Yeah.
The
conferences were going on, and you're in a city, and internet flow is probably shitty at that point. But yeah, I just want to touch on those things and say that yes, I'm trying to improve this thing, and I intend for it to stick around. I truly do. I like this thing. I like the graphics. Gray Scott Marcus might not continue. That's honestly up to you. I think this is the best show with State of the Frame on the channel. And, 0 frames per second is starting to really ramp up too. And, yeah, I'm going to do something with this. Something's
good.
Happen,
you should.
So.
Definitely stick with it.
So, again, I clicked off, and I don't know why. So, the next topic we wanted to talk about in this segment was, we've both been doing this, or at least I have just hopped back into it now that I'm feeling healthier again, and you've been in and out of this for a while.
Pretty much
you're back into
the past
it.
Fucking 6-8 months, I guess. And I almost feel like it's almost been a year since I first started thinking about applying to other jobs, but it's been a while.
What a fucking slog
it's awful.
This has become.
The most daunting task I could think of in the modern age is applying to jobs.
We were born in a time before, like, all this garbage really got tacked on to applying to jobs. Being on LinkedIn.
I wasn't on LinkedIn for a long time, and
I will not.
I did it, and I mean, the thing is, I can't say I regret doing it. Like, I don't use it for anything else.
I regret it in my inbox.
What was that?
I regret it
dude,
being.
I unsubscribe to everything, and it still gives me shit. It's awful, but
yeah. Oh, I hate services that do that. Unsubscribe. Here you go. Anyway.
Yeah, because it's like a couple different types of subscriptions that they automatically give you. Like, I don't fucking know, but I will say that with LinkedIn, I have been able to apply to a number of other jobs I haven't been into with Indeed.
It's like one of those fucking installs that it's like there's a check box down here, and if you don't catch it, it's gonna install something.
Yeah,
it's I
think like when I apply to a job, there's a checkbox and it says, "Do you want to follow so and so?" And I always uncheck it. So I'm almost wondering if you follow, one of these companies. That is what enables the emails to like flood your inbox, which is
I
awful.
Logged into it once because there was a job that seemed up my alley before I'd recovered, before I'd actually really gone through a lot of the ringer and thought, I'm gonna get through this and get one of these jobs. And just what the fuck is the point of that? How does that help anything? Honestly,
I really don't know.
I do understand, like, you're networking with like these other hardworking individuals, and like people can basically what's the word? Almost keep in check your work history. Other people are keeping it in check,
which is dumb. Like, who gives a shit? I'm going to give you my resume anyways. Why do you need to see it on LinkedIn?
Why does it have to be that difficult? When we before we went to college, it was still as simple as put in an application and sometimes a resume.
Right.
Not non incredibly professional jobs. And I would say, you could even get away with that with some professional jobs, car repair or bank or tellers or things like that. And now it's just like you need a resume and a fucking cover letter and a letter of interest and put them in a folder. And I swear to God, if you get one sentence wrong on one of your letters, I'm going to not only burn them, I'm going to call everyone I know and tell them why you are a worthless piece of human garbage. Like, it is insane, the pressure that is on people these days to, like, get it all right. Like, I've been sitting here whittling away at this cover letter for weeks now. I'm just like, what are the words? And I have I have a large problem in front of me because 3 years without working, it has to be covered somewhere. But how much do you cover? Oh, well, he put more than 2 sentences about this injury. Clearly, he's not, motivated.
or fit for a job.
Yeah, and it's just... Yeah, like, coming back into this, I'm just like, this has become too much. I want a part-time job that I can start working again with. Like... And if we're being honest, part of that is also this stagnation in the hiring market that has occurred from last year into this year, and has been a persistent issue since the recession.
Oh, I thought you were going to add on to that.
No,
okay.
I just, it's all disappointing. Like it's a very. It's a very hopeless thing to be a part of.
It strips all hope from your soul. Swear to God. Like, I've applied to a number of jobs where I've looked at it and like, okay, that looks really good. I'd like to have the opportunity, but in the back of my brain, I'm like, it's not going to happen. So I'm hoping at one point, I'll be shocked. But one of the things I hate is how redundant it becomes. Not just the application process, but I've applied to jobs where it's like, insert resume here, insert cover letter here. Next page, it says, tell us about your previous job experiences. Is like drop-down boxes. I have to insert the years with calendar dates.
Applications have
it's like,
become
Jesus
wild
fucking
too.
Christ,
It's just
no one
my
read?
my resume covers a lot of this.
Yeah.
And
Mine
it's
does
just
all of it. And I still had to do it like more than once in certain applications. And that's not usually
And that was a thing that did exist back when we started applying, like in high school. It's just like, what's your job history? But we didn't have much job history.
But you also didn't have like a resume that I already had on it.
Now it's like you have a resume. It's just like, this should cover a lot of what you're asking.
And if you're not able to create a professional enough resume that clearly outlines your work history, that's when you don't hire them. So it's like you're making it easier for morons by like going, click this drop down, click this date. Like if you can't fucking see it, then I don't know.
He included a picture with his resume. Let's bring him in for an interview. No way, he included a picture. We've got enough average-looking white males. Let's not, include him. I worked. I upscaled. I took a Word document that my friend was working with and put it into InDesign and scaled it back from 2 pages, compressed everything, and put it in this really nice format. And I was gonna put a picture on it, and his mom was just like, "You shouldn't do that." And he was just like, and he told me not to, and I was like, "Why?" And he was just like, "Because I'm black." And I was just like, "Fuck!" Like, that is so lame.
You and I did the other day for this is the first time I've ever done this in an application. It asked if I was disabled, and I was like, "Yes."
Now, getting into that, because I have looked into this multiple times, that can be more of a detriment than actually not
go. Yeah,
it's like it can go either way, but once
they're like equal
I mean, like there's nothing you can do about it. For those who have come this far with us or who are just joining us, Mark doesn't have a leg. He has like a superior robotic leg that will eventually take over the world, and might bring him along for the ride. So you are registered disabled among the state, and like this is something I've looked into because this has been such a chronic issue, and looking into potentially getting disability and things like that. And it's just like once you are registered, like that is like that can, as we just said, go either way, and like sometimes it just hinders the process. But it's just like, how do you know? What do you do?
Right.
What do you do? Like,
well, I mean, there's. I don't think it's anything that's going to show up in a background check necessarily, because it's nothing legally binding to you. But it's kind of like I apply to jobs and it asks if you're a veteran or. And
sometimes that doesn't help you. I went down that rabbit hole where I was just like, well, does being a veteran help? Does being a minority help?
Exactly,
and I looked into all this, and it's just
like choose not to disclose this information at this time. But I also feel like that's somewhat shady.
Yeah, even checking one of those boxes, it's just like,
I'm not going to tell you if I'm white or black. Figure it out.
I was in Iraq, but I'm not going to tell you that, even though that should benefit me.
But it's all legal shit though. It's usually not like for the company. It's because legally, for some odd fucking reason, usually if it's a big nationally known company, they have to do it for government purposes. I don't know.
It's again,
for equal opportunity to really be exemplified, they have to ask these questions. I think
here was a really fun one that I learned about in college, and I don't have one on me. But what kind of watch are you wearing in the interview? That is such garbage. That this is the level of judgment that we are
what
on.
You wear. It's like you don't be too flashy,
too fancy, but don't miss any of the marks. And it's just like,
I just wish you could just take a fucking test for an hour. I feel like
fuck testing. I'm so sick of testing.
No, I'm applying to graphic design jobs. I want to walk in somewhere and be like, all right, design a logo that does this. If they like it, I'm hired. If they don't like it, give me some criticisms. Tell me better luck next time. That should be the job application. Because
that I can get behind, because it's not like A, B, C, or D.
Yeah. Not a fucking bubble test, but an actual a
test. Yeah, an actual test
if
of
you're
skill.
Go to a bank, can you fucking count money? You don't know if a person that has a perfect resume can count money or not properly. That may not be a bad example, or could be a good example. I don't know, but shit like that is why isn't that implemented in some places? I'll never know. It is.
Some jobs actually
some developers,
and that is also
when they went to another job, they had to take a developer test, do some code or some shit. But
that is also part of the process of the resume and the cover letter and all that, to show and prove. But it's just then it's so relegated to these people who are already in this work culture, and those are the only ones who are really desired. Right. Even in the job that could have that entry level position, if there is still someone who has something that is proven, and of course deservedly so. Such people, yes, should be getting work, but that doesn't mean that it should be a complete wash or lockout for someone who is missing this one point on their resume, or someone like me who is just I have, a great work ethic, but unfortunately I had to go through this fucking thing. And what a slog.
I mean, companies are looking for ideal previous experience, and it's
and of
that
course
may
that
not tell the whole thing,
Yeah, it doesn't. But it makes sense. But at the same time, it doesn't. It's just yeah, sure, you're looking to fill in all the bullet points, but how do you know? How do you know? People sell things all the time that are absolute rubbish.
Absolutely.
Why can't they sell themselves? So,
I feel like I could sell myself in person easily, but on paper, it's fucking difficult. Yeah, I did my best. I do my best, but
yeah, and that's actually one of the things I've had to take on, because I do find myself talking in circles about just like, well, after this surgery I did this, and because of this surgery I had to put this on hold, but I developed these skills, and it's just like, no, fuck it, like just go into salesman mode, unfortunately. Like, and I don't want to do that, because I am a person, obviously. I'm here, I put us out there, I force you to be out here, and like, that's just it. Like, I am a person, and I'm a good working person. I'm not the best, no, but I can do a damn good job, and do a decent job, especially with this stuff. Right. Especially if provided with, great software. And it's just like, I want to present that, but it's just like, fucking how?
Yeah, it's
the
hard to do.
The opportunity has basically narrowed, I guess, is like what's in my head right now, because it's just like, back when you had all this opportunity to present yourself, now it's just like you have to have presented yourself unless you are a teenager. So I don't know. So I'm gonna stop this recording, and we're gonna move into
this will be part 1 of the rambles.
Yeah, we'll be in the next. We'll move into the next ramble, and
Alrighty.
we'll move into the hype train.